welcome back once again to After the Credits. Today we got around to seeing another new movie, just came out the other day, same day as Doctor Strange. Waited an extra day to see this one, just because the times didn't quite match up right, and I wasn't able to see both of them in the same shot like I wanted to. But I did get around to seeing another new movie, and today's movie was Trolls. Now this is not the Trolls from way back when you may be thinking of. It's not a remake, it's not a sequel. This is a new Trolls based off of the little toy Trolls that we had back in the 80s and 90s with the long hair, and you would sit there and like twirl the hair and stuff, and they're supposed to make a wish, or it was supposed to bring you good luck or whatever. A lot of people would have them in their office sitting on top of their computers. This movie is based off of those. I forget exactly who makes the Troll dolls, but I guess this will be another in the line of, I don't want to say board games movies, but it is another toy-based movie, so yeah. So what did I think of the movie overall? It was cute. I'm not gonna lie, I did enjoy it. Again, it is targeted towards children, so it plays out about the way you expect any kids movie to play out nowadays. But overall, it was kind of fun. Mostly towards the end, it got better. In the beginning, you're just kind of like, okay, I know where this is going, I know where this is going, I know where this is going. Can we just get there? Once we actually start getting towards the end and stuff started happening, it was a bit more enjoyable. But like I said, overall, it's a kids movie. You can kind of telegraph everything that's going to happen. You kind of know what to expect out of it. You know how it's going to end. There's just not a whole lot of substance to it. But overall, for what it was still a fun movie. So we start out with the story of the Trolls, how they're always happy, they're always singing, they're always dancing, they're always hugging, whatever. And then we are introduced to the characters of, I believe they're called the Birkins or Bergens, something like that. I think it was Birkins, who are basically kind of like ogres, and they're always unhappy. They don't know how to sing, they can't dance, they don't hug, they basically just have a lot of negative emotion behind them, and they're just always really miserable. And one day they're out doing whatever, and they hear the singing and laughing and happiness of the Trolls, so they go and investigate, and they find the Trolls, and they want that happiness. But instead of saying, hey, Trolls, can you teach us how to be happy? One of them just picks up a troll and eats it. And I guess it was kind of out of rage. It's like, I can't be happy, so you don't get to be happy either. And he tossed it in his mouth type of thing. But what they find out is once they've eaten the Trolls, the Birkins are actually able to experience happiness for one day after eating the Trolls, I guess. So they're able to learn what happiness is. So they decide that in order to be happy, they have one time every year where they have this celebration where they eat the Trolls, and then they're happy for a day or whatever, and that lasts until the next year. So they find this tree that the Trolls are living in, and they basically put a cage around it so none of the Trolls can escape, which doesn't really make sense because the gaps in the bars are big enough for any troll to walk through. And the Birkins basically build their whole town around this tree that the Trolls live in. The years go by, and it's coming up on Trollstice, which is the celebration of eating the Trolls. And it's the young Prince Birkin's first ever Trollstice. So it's the first time he's ever going to taste the Trolls, the first time he's ever going to be happy. Although if you watch it, he's so excited about eating this troll for the first time. All you really have to do is tell him, look, you're already experiencing happiness. Look at the joy in you at the thought of eating this. But no one ever tells him that. They're just like, no, the only way to be happy is to eat a troll. So the day comes, they go to get the Trolls, and the prince is about to eat his first troll ever, and he finds out that the troll he's eating is fake. And he spits it out on the ground, and it happens to be one of the little toy Trolls, which is kind of funny, nice little nod to what they were. And we find out that the Trolls have escaped. They're being led away by their current king, who, I forget his name, I think it was like King Papa or something like that. And he leads all the Trolls away, and they manage to all escape, and like 20 years goes by, and the Trolls have all lived in happiness, and away from the Birkins, undetected, whatever. And now 20 years later, the little baby princess that we're introduced to in the first part is all grown up and is on her way to becoming the new leader of the Trolls. The king is kind of stepping down, he's not the king he used to be. So she's getting ready to take her place. And because they never experienced the Birkin, or she hasn't experienced the Birkins in a long time, and her entire generation doesn't remember what it was like under the Birkins, she kind of gets reckless, and she's always like, oh, it's okay to sing and dance and hug and party and all this. And she says, because it's the 20th anniversary of our escaping on Trollstice, we're going to have the biggest party ever seen. And there's this one little naysayer troll who's always kind of in the background, always being prepared, always like, all your partying and stuff is eventually going to lead the Birkins to us. We've managed to hide this long, but you're getting reckless. And when he hears that she's going to have the biggest party ever, he's like, yeah, great, you're going to lead them right to us. You think they're not going to be able to find us and hear us and see us with what you're doing? And he kind of throws out to her like she's unfit to be the new leader, which kind of eats at her a little bit, but at the same time, she's like, you know what, he's just a grump, whatever. Turns out they have this big party, and it does exactly that. It leads one of the Birkins back to them, a handful of them are captured, the rest of them manage to go into hiding, and she basically goes to him and says, look, you were right, I screwed up, I need your help to go rescue our friends. And at first, he's kind of reluctant. He doesn't want, he's always been prepared to stay away from the Birkins. Now she wants him to run headlong into the Birkins. He's kind of like, no, at first, and she goes, fine, I'll go on my own. And within her first couple hours out, trying to go back to Birkin Town and find all her friends, she runs into trouble. So, of course, he's been following her. He's there. He rescues her, whatever. Then it kind of plays out like you would expect. They get to Birkin Town. They find their friends, and there's quite a bit more that happens in this part that I don't really want to spoil, because it's kind of the whole basis of the movie. But at the same time, like I said, it plays out about like how you would expect a kid's movie to play out. Basically, one thing I will tell you is they meet a Birkin who isn't mean, actually is able to experience happiness, sings, dances, everything. So it's kind of this weird mix of the trolls have a troll that's like a Birkin, and then the Birkins have a Birkin that's like a troll. So I originally thought those were going to kind of play off of each other, like, you're kind of like us, and you're kind of like us, and that was going to be the mashup. No, it's not. It plays into something else that's going on in the background, which again was kind of obvious. But over the course of it, the princess obviously is going to develop feelings for the lead guy. It's vaguely hinted at in the first part that she has feelings for another guy, and as the movie progresses, it gets more and more that she actually likes this other guy. So, of course, that because she's supposed to end up with this other male lead, something's either going to have to happen to that other guy, or he's going to be becoming a bad guy in the long run. One of those two things happens. I'm not going to tell you which, but you can probably guess. So once all that happens, she can kind of start seeing this other grumpy guy in, like, this new light. Like, the way he's helping out more and more, she just kind of starts to appreciate him more and more. And it basically all leads up to them finally finding a form of happiness together with each other. And yeah, like I said, I don't want to tell you the whole thing, even though I told you a good portion of it already, but it is a kid's movie. It's going to play out about how you expect. So, the day is saved, everyone's happy again, and that's basically the rundown of the movie. So what would I give it as far as a star rating? Again, I'm basing this based off the fact that it is a kid's movie. I went into it with that mentality. I don't want to judge it too low just because it's predictable and it's not targeted towards me. All the kids that were in the theater seemed to love it, or at least from what I remember of the kids, because they wouldn't shut up talking enough to actually pay attention to the movie. Overall, I felt they still enjoyed it for what it was. A lot of singing, a lot of dancing, a lot of whatever. One thing I did like about it is it started out with the singing. It was kind of like making up its own songs. You're like, okay, it's going to be a musical. Then it kind of goes into that, what was it, Rock of Ages or whatever, where it kind of uses, at least I think it was Rock of Ages, I might be wrong on that, where it uses more modern songs just sung by the characters in the movie. So I actually liked it from that aspect because I actually knew the songs and it wasn't like, okay, this is another Disney song that I'll have to learn at some point, like all the ones from Little Mermaid and whatever, which, I don't know, after a while Disney songs stopped being catchy and just didn't hold my attention as much as they used to. So the fact that they're incorporating songs I hear on the radio all the time actually helps me get more absorbed into this movie and what's actually going on in the movie, and the way they use the wordplay of what's in the song to further the story of the movie. I actually like that quite a bit. So what would I give as far as a star rating? Based on all that, I give it a solid 3.5, I guess. Like I said, it's being judged based on the fact that it is a kid's movie and how I feel kids would enjoy it versus how I personally felt about it. Like I said, from my personal standpoint, it's a kid's movie. It's really predictable. You know how the story functions. You know how it's going to run. You know how it's going to end. But once you push all that aside and just enjoy it for what it is, it was a decent movie. So not really a whole lot to drag it down from my standpoint other than it being a kid's movie and being predictable. So I don't want to take it down too low, so let's say I'll give it like a 3.5. It's a fair grading. So that's it for this episode. Again, as always, thank you guys for watching. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, share the video. Links are in the description. And until next time, we'll see you after the credits.